Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be doing a guide on how to do as good as you possibly can on the scoreboard in Battlefield 1. Now, some of the tips I'm going to be giving you today are not necessarily going to be for the benefit of your team, but purely to get yourself as high as possible on the scoreboard. The way that scoring in Battlefield 1 works is that it's not always conducive to the win factor in Battlefield 1. You can get plenty of points by doing things that really aren't helping your team as much as the scoreboard would lead you to believe. And this is an unfortunate byproduct of DICE really trying above and beyond to get everybody to play the objective. In doing so, they've created a scoring system that can kind of be exploited to an extent once you understand it. Now, for getting high up on that scoreboard, there's two classes I want to talk about today that I have had the most success with, and it's because I think they attribute themselves the best to objective play, or rather taking advantage of the point bonuses you get from objective play. And it's not to say that you can't get on the top of the scoreboard using any class, as I have done so with every class in the game, but there are just some that make it a bit easier than others. Now, the first class is the Scout class, and this is one that really does have to be combined with a decently skilled player. You don't necessarily have to be the best player in the world to get on the top of the scoreboard, but when you're playing the Scout class, good skill, good aim, marksmanship will definitely help you get there. I generally like to pick this class when playing defensively, or if I'm playing offense and there's a big wide open area that we need to cross and the enemy has some very good fortification. The Scout class gets some of the best benefits point-wise from getting kills. If you get a marksman headshot kill, not only do you get points for the headshot, but you get extra points for the distance of the kill. Plus, if you're stationed within the capture sector of one of the points defensively, you will also get bonus points for that. So if you're being very aware of where you are on the map when you're setting yourself up to try and get some kills, you can get a bonus 50 points per kill depending on where you're actually standing when you take the shot. Now, personally, I disagree with some of these bonuses in the game just from a game balance standpoint and how much you're benefiting the team. I don't think a kill while you're standing on a flag point versus standing 10 feet right of the flag point is going to benefit your team any more or any less. And the bonus points attributed to it I think are a little bit crazy, but since they're in the game, you may as well take advantage of them if you are trying to top that scoreboard. Now, of course, to maximize your score, you will be wanting to take advantage of the spotting bonuses you get simply from hitting the Q button, spotting enemies, but also firing your flares in areas of heavy action. Even if you kind of know where the enemy are, generally speaking, if you shoot a flare into a clump of bad guys and your team mows them down, you'll get spotting bonuses for those bad guys. So make sure to use your gadgets whenever possible. Even if you think you're about to die, get those flares off before you die. You'll get some extra points from it, maximizing your place on the scoreboard once again. And as much as I love the Scout class and as insanely effective as this class can be, it's not always the right choice. Knowing when to pick this class is very important. Big open areas of the map make the most sense. Areas where the enemy is going to have to cross large open areas of land with no cover are going to be your kill zones, the easiest places to get your kills. If people are already pushing up on the point, they're getting in close, you're not really going to be doing your team much of a favor by playing the Scout class, so you may want to switch it up, and that's where I'll switch to the Assault class, the class that has the best close quarter weapons in the game. Now, there's a lot of benefits that come to playing the Assault class aside from just killing your opponents, and again, you won't get the same kind of bonuses you get for killing the enemies as you do with the Scout class, but you will generally speaking be able to kill them easier in close quarters, and you'll also be in a position to be exactly on the point both defensively and offensively, and that's where a good percentage, if not most of your points are going to come from in objective game modes. The points you get from capping and recapturing or defending flags is absolutely insane in this game. I think it's a bit too high for what it should be, but if you can be on a flag when you're capturing it from start to finish, that can be the equivalent of getting something like 14, 15, even 16 kills, which is totally nuts to think about. So if one of your teammates just happens to run onto an undefended flag or an uncontested flag and they start capturing it up from start to finish, and you're off of that point killing tons of bad guys and wrecking the enemy team, say you get 10, 12 kills while doing so, your teammate who captured that flag on his own without seeing any action at all just got more points than you did. So think about that next time you're off on your own getting tons of kills in this game. The way the scoring system works, you are not doing the action that will get you on top of that scoreboard. You may in fact be helping your team a lot by crushing entire enemy team flanks, but the game's point system is not going to reward you for that. So if you're going to kill your enemies, do it while you're on the objective, and make sure you're capping and defending flags while doing so. Otherwise, your points just aren't going to be as impressive. And if you're somebody who's incredibly skilled and good at this game, and you're always seeing yourself as the top killer, but often not on top of the scoreboard, this is why. And personally, I disagree with the point attribution to objective play in Battlefield 1. I think DICE has successfully made it very attractive to play the objective, or rather get on the flag, but they've also made other forms of playing the objective far less valuable, and made the game feel less rewarding dynamically to how good of a player or how helpful of a player you are, and made it only rewarding to a very, very specific play style. So it's interesting. I don't particularly like it, but it's certainly influenced the way that I play the game if I know I'm trying to get on top of that scoreboard. Now, even though I think the Assault class and the Scout class are generally speaking the best classes to maximize your point gain with, you can absolutely get on top of the scoreboard if you are good enough with the other classes. The most important thing to keep in mind, though, is to switch up your class or your playstyle depending on the situation that you're in, especially if vehicles become available. Tanks and airplanes can be an insane way to generate points. Now, the attack plane and fighters can be good ways to get points, provided that you're playing on the right game mode. In operations, the attack plane can be insanely lucrative point-wise. On, say, larger maps or different game modes like Conquest, it might not be as good, because the attack plane benefits from getting tons and tons of kills from clumped up enemies. If your enemies are spread out among a big map of Conquest, the attack plane will not net you as many kills. It can still be a lot of fun to play in, and you can still feel like you're helping out your team a lot, but it's just not going to be that rewarding point-wise. So keep that in mind, and Operations is a great game mode to take advantage of vehicles. The tanks themselves, of course, are very good ways for generating points. The heavy tank is one of the best because of its incredible repair ability and its ability to take out infantry and other tanks alike. If you park that heavy tank on a point defensively, or you push it onto a point offensively, not only are you going to be getting bonus points for killing enemies on the points, but you will also be getting capture points. And that is one of the biggest benefits of the tanks, is that it's got that survivability to push onto a flag and stay on that flag for the full capture process. So tanks not only increase your ability to kill the enemy, but increase your ability to stay on the points. They just win on every single front. And that can be one of the easiest ways to get on top of the scoreboard, is if you are a good tank driver. You can just stay up long enough to just get a ton of capture points, objective points, and kills. So like I said before, adapting to the situation at hand, picking the right class for the right situation is beneficial, but also taking a vehicle whenever one is available and knowing how to maximize its effectiveness is also important. So this was something that I touted a lot in Battlefield 3, was being good with everything in the game gives you the most options for generating points and allows you to pick the best option given what's available at hand. You don't have to be a god in every single class or every single vehicle, but even a decent tank driver will be generating a lot more points than probably a very good assault player. So keep that in mind so that you can take advantage of the vehicles and use them to their fullest extent. Now, if you want to take it even a step further, you can set yourself up to be a squad leader. You can either try and promote yourself to squad leader or create your own squad and then mark the objectives. When you mark objectives, you get even extra points for all objective related play. In fact, you can just mark an objective defensively and it will generate you points over time, provided that you hold that point defensively. So this isn't necessarily a way to generate a crap load of points, but it's an easy way to get some extra points, especially if you notice you're in a squad where the squad leader is just not marking objectives or doing anything to get you those bonus points. You should definitely try and take over the squad or create your own. One of the simplest tricks as a squad leader to get some free and easy points is to just simply mark a flag or a point on the map that looks like it's about to be captured. You don't have to be there, your squad members don't have to be there, but if you mark it right before it gets captured, you get 100 points for yourself and everybody in your squad. It's kind of cheap. I, again, don't really agree with some of the point allocation in this system, but if you are trying to get as many points as possible, this is one way to do so. Now, another thing I'd like to mention, because I do notice a lot of players play Battlefield very conservatively, they're very conscious of their KDR, how many times they die. They don't want to risk themselves unnecessarily. This is not the right mindset for playing Battlefield if you want to get as many points as possible. Don't be afraid of death, especially defensively, where your deaths don't matter and don't really hurt your team's ticket count. You want to get yourself into the action as much as possible. You want to get as many kills as possible. You especially want to get as many kills on the point as possible, where you're most likely to get killed. Throw yourself into the action over and over again. Don't worry about your KDR too much. Just make sure you're in there, getting lots of action all the time. Otherwise, you can play conservatively in the backfields, try and make sure you're maximizing your KDR as a sniper class, but it's not necessarily going to be as beneficial to your actual points. Now, at the end of the day, having good aim, reaction times, game sense, ideas of how to flank, and map knowledge are going to be incredibly beneficial for getting kills and points and helping you out on the scoreboard. This is going to help in no matter what game mode you play. Just playing more, getting better, becoming more accurate. That is always going to benefit you more in the game. But understanding the fundamentals of the scoring system is going to help you if you want to get on top of that scoreboard and rank up even faster. And again, I do disagree with a lot of the fundamentals of the way the scoring system works, as I think it contradicts the ideas of actually winning games or helping out your teammates in certain ways that just aren't rewarded too much on the scoreboard. So it's not a perfect system right now. DICE can certainly fix it in the future, but as it stands right now, some of the tips in this video I think will go a long way into getting you higher up on that scoreboard and potentially ranking up even faster. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Levelcap signing off.